Hey, you hodads. Bonsai. Welcome to Hawkeye's Tales and Trails. Hawkeye is on another surfing safari to find out what is really going on. Then report back to you with these videos. All information is deemed reliable, however, it could be embellished. Please click on the black cat on the bottom right-hand corner at any time to subscribe. Dude, what do you think about that? This is what Hawkeye's Tales and Trails is all about. Okay, wax down your board and ride some waves. Episode 142 is about another great surfing location in California that is a little harder to get to. Most great surfing locations are not easy to reach. Remember, people, catch a wave and you are sitting on top of the world. It is a better high than doing drugs. I should know. I am hard-charging pagan woman warrior queen, Calithia, the hostess of Hawkeye's Tales and Trails. See my story in episode 120 of Hawkeye's Tales and Trails. Cortez Bank is a shallow seamount, a barely submerged island, in the North Pacific Ocean. It is 96 miles southwest of San Pedro, 111 miles west of Point Loma, and 47 miles southwest of San Clemente Island. It is considered the outermost feature in California's Channel Islands chain. The shallower reaches of the bank comprise about 15 to 18 miles of sandstone and basalt, and they rise from the ocean floor from 1,000 fathoms, or just over a mile depth. The bank has been described as a series of mountaintops, but really it is more of the shape of a wave-scoured mesa with a few hard, basaltic high spots along its length. The shallowest peak, the Bishop Rock, rises to between 3 and 6 feet from the surface, depending on the tides. On very low tides, the rock can be visible in the trough of passing waves. Other shoal spots, besides the Bishop Rock, also spawn giant waves. These shoals range in depth from 30 to 100 feet and are a hazard to shipping. Both are noted scuba diving locations featuring clear water, vast kelp forests, and abundant sea life. Bishop Rock also creates a renowned big wave surfing spot recognized as being capable of producing some of the tallest surfable waves in the world. In 1853, during a voyage from Panama to San Francisco, the captain of the sidewheel steamship Cortez, T.P. Cropper, reported seeing the seas in violent commotion above a low-lying island. The seamount would later be named for the ship. Cropper at first thought he was above a volcano. Bishop Rock is today marked by a nearby warning buoy. On November 3, 1855, the New York Times carried the story "Dangerous Rock" off the coast of California, which reported McCrae's finding and the fact that he and the crew of the ship had anchored a pair of casks bearing a flag to mark the spot. On November 2, 1985, the aircraft carrier USS Enterprise struck the Cortez Bank Reef about 1 mile east of Bishop Rock, putting a 60-foot gash in her outer hull on the port side, ripped off her port keel, and severely deformed her outboard port propeller blades.
The bank itself is actually about 20 miles long, which is about the same size as, say, like Catalina or other islands. So when we get swells coming in, approaching the bank, they actually run the length of this island, feeling the underwater topography. We call it bathymetry. And as we know, waves will wrap towards shallower water, and that's exactly what happens out at Cortez Bank. The good swells out there are starting to feel the bottom at about 1,000 feet deep. From 1,000 feet deep all the way up to 6 feet deep, you know, the bottom just grabbing that swell and pulling it and matching it and crossing it up, and it's just a myriad of crossovers in the swells and stuff.
In the summer of 1961, surfer Harrison Ely of Oceanside, California, became one of the first people to surf a wave at the Bishop Rock. In around 1973, surfer Ilima Kalama, father of big wave surfer Dave Kalama, nearly died when the abalone fishing boat he was aboard sank on the Bishop Rock in the middle of the night. In the early 1990s, Larry Moore, photo editor at Surfing Magazine, and Mike Castillo, veteran surfer and pilot, made flights out across the bank on rumors of giant waves. By By 1995, Moore had seen and photographed waves, and that year he led an expedition with a small group of surfers out there, including Surfing Magazine editors Sam George and Bill Sharp, and pro surfer George Hulse. The team found relatively small, but very glassy waves in the 15-foot range, and George Hulse was the first to catch one. It was the only time I rode out a will before a surf trip, Sharp said of the mission. Several surfers planned for the ideal conditions at the bank. In 2001, a storm called Storm 15 in the Gulf of Alaska and a high-pressure ridge over California came together to create huge swells but light wind over the bank. A team of surfers went out on the FV Pacific Quest from San Diego. On the morning of January 19, 2001, they found smooth glassy conditions and enormous, half-mile-long waves breaking across about 1 mile of reef. Walla and Slater tried to paddle for one of these waves, and both nearly drowned. Larry Moore photographed from a circling plane, Dana Brown shot from a boat for his surf film Step into Liquid, and Fran Battaglia shot from 2 other boats for his wave science film Making the Call, Big Waves of the North Pacific, his documentary for Swell, XXL, NBC Dateline, Billabong Odyssey, and Activision's Kelly Slater Pro Surfer video game. Parsons was towed into the wave of the day. His first ride at the Cortez Bank was estimated at 66 feet on the face. It won him the first of 2 Guinness World Records and the Swell XXL Biggest Wave Award, now Billabong XXL, prize of $66,000 for the biggest wave surfed in 2000/2001. On January 5, 2008, Mike Parsons, Brad Gerlach, Grant Twiggy Baker, and Greg Long returned to the location in the midst of one of the worst storms ever recorded off the coast of California. Mike Parsons was photographed on a wave bigger than his award-winning ride of 2001, judged by the Billabong XXL judges as 70-plus feet on the face, later determined to be at least 77 feet, and Parsons' second Guinness World Record. He was photographed 15 seconds into the ride, suggesting a wave of over 80 feet at the start. All witnesses agree that Greg Long rode a bigger wave, between 80 and 90 feet, that was not captured by photo or video. Thank you to you, our viewers. Google, Wikipedia, Hang Loose.